And hello, welcome to the show. My name's Jeff with the G. Right here is Scabs the Clown, and right now we are gaffing the truth. Today we're going to talk about JFK.
I left my notebook on the table. You grab it from me.
And Old Umble Guy says, cool intro. Well, thanks, Old Umble Guy. It took me all of minutes to do. And the band is playing.
That was actually us. That wasn't Photoshop.
That's right. Yeah, that's how it was. That's how drunk we were. That's why we looked weird. And well, it was Scabs' head just kept getting bigger and bigger as he's talking about cryptid shit, because that's actually what he does. So it makes sense.
True story.
True story.
Yeah, you bring up cryptids or bugs, I won't shut up and my head will explode.
Very true. Today, for Gaffing the Truth, which is what's above us, because we're gaffing the truth now, because it's a cooler title than what we had before. We're going to be talking about JFK and the JFK conspiracies around his death. Both of us have our own opinions about it, which is pretty straightforward, but still, we also like visiting some of the weirder stuff. So let me give everybody the official rundown so I can do it right, because we're a professional show here.
Very professional.
Cheers.
I said as I'm exhaling my cigarette smoke.
That's right. Yeah. All right, so officially what happened was on Friday, November 22nd, 1963 at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas, Texas, while riding in the presidential motorcade through Dealey Plaza, Kennedy was riding along with his wife Jacqueline, Texas Governor John Connally, and Connally's wife Nellie when he was fatally shot by former U.S. Marine Lee Harvey Oswald.
Allegedly shot.
At the officially speak, we're talking the official word. That's what we're saying. We can go over who and what right after this. It's the official word currently. He was firing in an ambush position from a nearby building, which I've been to, and that's actually the Conspiracy Museum in Dallas is located right there. Governor Connally was severely wounded in the attack but lived. The motorcade rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital, where Kennedy was pronounced dead approximately 30 minutes later. That is the official speech when it comes to. We're just going to go officially with the actual assassination proper.
Yeah.
Now,
some of the alleged involvement was CIA, the Mafia, LBJ, Fidel Castro, the KGB, and the estimated total of people that were accused of his assassination: 42 different groups, 82 different assassins, and altogether 214 different people.
And that doesn't even count the fashion industry, is what Zoolander taught me. So
yeah, right. Well, I mean, you want to go Zoolander route because that was a great documentary. Another great piece of literature to help you. This is the truth right here. Stephen King's 11/22/63. It's a great book. Actually, no, this is bullshit, but it is a great book. If you get a chance, if you feel like reading something that's big, it's a great book.
No, it's a fun. Yeah, Stephen King usually is. Even his worst books are still pretty good books. So
yeah, his like weird short stories. You're like, okay, I still kind of like that, but I don't get it.
No, but so yeah, that's why. Like, there are tons of like reasons and why. The most popular theory is actually combined function with the CIA and the Mafia concerning both Kennedy's noted infidelities. He's been known to have a lot of liaisons in the White House, and so that was a problem for CIA. And mobsters weren't kind with the president scooping all their girls. So, one theory.
Yeah, that's why Marilyn Monroe isn't with us anymore.
That is a related yet separate conspiracy. That also includes you got to add in Robert and all that other stuff. And then, 75 minutes later after the shooting, the FBI closed in on Lee Harvey Oswald, took him into custody, and then a day or so later, as they were transferring the prisoner, Jack Ruby supposedly shot him No, actually, that's pretty. You can watch him. You can watch the video of him shooting Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
That's just.
And actually, Lee Harvey Oswald was initially arrested for killing J.D. Tippit, a police officer. He was initially arrested for that, and then the next day he was arraigned for JFK's murder.
Yeah, and then as they're transferred the prince, the noted local mob person Jack Ruby up and shot Lee Harvey Oswald. The only person who actually had at least had legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate ties to the mafia was Jack Ruby. Mm-hmm. Local restaurateur club.
He was a local club owner. What was it, Ruby Club? Something.
No, it was the. Actually, what's really funny is I just finished watching the new season of The Umbrella Academy. And
I just started it, so that this is perfect for all this.
So really, it is set in Dallas during that time, and one of the kids works for Jack Ruby in his club, and it's the Starlight Lounge, I think is what it's called. It's not called the Ruby Club.
Okay.
It became the Ruby. You're thinking the Ruby Review from the Burlesquers, and they had the Ruby Room, which is all named after Jack Ruby.
I might be thinking of that, but yeah, no, I figured if my last name was Ruby, I'd probably name a club after myself.
Yeah, I would too. I mean. That's a hip name, so I don't know. It may not have been. I don't think it was probably his club. I think he ran it. I don't think it was his. That's probably why.
That makes sense. He's a mobster. It's nothing is his, or nothing's in his name.
If he does it right, that's true. So where do we want to start with this when it comes to the weird conspiracy stuff? Like you want to start with the obvious one. We want to talk the connections for Kennedy and why he got killed. We want to talk Harvey Oswald and how he's just a patsy. Do we want to talk about the vagrants on the grassy knoll?
Most of the documents under the JFK Assassination Record Collections Act of 1992 released August 26th. It was October 26, 2017. And then there's remaining documents still classified and currently being analyzed for redactions to be released by October 26, 2021. And then also, American polls, most people believe in a cover-up or some kind of conspiracy. From 2003 to 2009, polls asked about whether you think it was Oswald on his own or conspiracy or Oswald at all. Polls show that more than 60%, up to 75% in some cases, believe there's some kind of conspiracy or cover-up. And that's the American population.
So where do you fall in this?
I think it's easy to believe that, it's exactly like they say it is, but at the same time, like, why were there so many issues? Why were there so many problems? I think there's a little bit more than what we're being told, especially since Oswald, they're like, oh, he was trying to defect to the Soviet Union, and he went to the Mexican the Soviet consulate in Mexico City, and he was asking them a lot of questions, but then records, recordings, pictures and everything are of a totally different person who was claiming to be Lee Harvey Oswald a month before the assassination. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that makes you believe, like, okay, there's a little bit more to this.
I have to agree on some levels for some of this. I think the degree as far as the super shadow government stuff, I'm like not. I don't think it's that as complicated as that.
We talked about the reptilians last week, okay?
Sure, we did. See, it's all ties to tie together. Now, one is it's already been proven that the killing blow did come from the window at the 6th floor of the book depository building. That is a fact. Now, some people are saying that it wasn't necessarily Lee Harvey who did it. It was rather someone else. That's one popular theory, is that he was set up as a patsy from the beginning and had a trained sniper there and had backup, and there were actually quote unquote backup locations just in case that didn't go through, which is why you have things like the vagrants on the grassy knoll, and I think there's one other location.
Yeah, those people behind the fence on the grassy knoll, those people on the actual grassy knoll. Some of my favorite theories are the Umbrella Man, and if that's in the show, don't spoil it for me. I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay.
The umbrella man, that's a real conspiracy theory. There was a man there with an umbrella, and it was like, it's not raining, it's not that hot, why does he need an umbrella? And then there's also the shots from the gutter that people were talking about. The umbrella, I like that theory a lot because it's it's the Penguin from Batman. Like, he had a specialized umbrella that he just like bang bang, just shot with.
He could have just been like, if that person had anything to do with it, he just could have been the signaler. It was the from where his location was. He could have been the site for when somebody when you're trying to do things like being a sniper and stuff like that. You have to use multiple points to get your sights right, and probably he may have been there strictly as for the sniper to gauge distance to make it easy.
I mean, also, I'm a pasty ginger who lives in Texas. I get why he'd probably want an umbrella.
That's right. It's November, so and it's Texas, so weather.
I mean, even still, it's in Houston. I can break a sweat in November. You know
that. That's Dallas, not Houston. So
yeah, true that.
So we got yeah. So in the chat we got Filth Screamer who says it's all a lie. Bigfoot killed JFK. Guess we're done. Credits.
Actually, my rebuttal. One of my favorite conspiracy theories that you can't even really find anything on anymore. I remember like early '90s, I saw it on a couple T-shirts, I saw it on a couple posters, and I'd seen it written in places, which is weird, for the early '90s, and I've never seen it again. Elvis shot Kennedy.
I remember seeing that too, but I think that was just being goofy.
I know, yeah, it was I remember seeing somebody's shirt and it said Elvis shot Kennedy, and I want to say I was a kid and I was with my family at Pride Parade or something, or either Westheimer Street Festival or something, which basically the same thing. But I want to say there was a woman that had that shirt and said Elvis shot Kennedy, and my dad asked about it, and she was like, "It's a little known conspiracy. You can find some stuff about it if you really try." And then I've never been able to find anything about it.
No, but I think that sounds like a great thing if we can get maybe we'll get a newspaper mock-up of that and sell it as like a Gaffing the Truth T-shirt. Maybe because that'd be a lot of fun. Elvis shot Kennedy.
Yeah, Elvis shot Kennedy. Known accomplices: Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster.
Mothman.
No, Montauk Monster.
Montauk. There you go. Yeah. So one of my favorite things to talk about, because I actually have a connection to the one side for me. Let's talk the vagrants on the grassy knoll. The reason I like talking about them is because in the time period, you're considered a vagrant if you don't have ID on you. You're not necessarily homeless, you just don't have your ID on you. So you can get tickets or even get picked up by the pokey for.
And I believe that's still a law today. If you don't have an ID on you, they can technically write you a ticket or take you in
for vagrancy
if they feel you might be a threat.
Yeah. And so the three lookers that were on the grassy knoll, I'm going to bring up because I love using virtual backgrounds for us to see these pictures because it's a lot easier. So, got these guys right here. There's right there. Those are the three guys that were arrested on the grassy knoll. And
look at those sideburns. He needs to be arrested. And I kind of dress like that guy in the back, so I don't blame them for arresting him.
So this guy right here. I'm gonna point out this guy right here. This guy, because we know the names of all these guys. This guy in particular, I want to talk about this guy right here. This guy's name was Charles Harrelson. Charles Harrelson, who was then, I'm gonna pull up his stuff so we can talk about it right. Let me get out of this so we can talk about it. All right, so Charles Harrelson. I'll pull up my info on that because there we go. All right. So here's the thing about interesting thing about Charles Harrison. First off, he had been convicted of armed robbery back in 1960. It's 1963, and he was already out and stuff like that.
Yeah, he can turn his life around in 3 years.
True. I mean, he got for armed robbery, he's already out of jail too. That's something. He was acquitted for murder in 1970, convicted of murder in 1973. And
all I'm hearing is acquitted and convicted. He didn't do it.
No, once again, and convicted of murder in 1979. Here's another fun thing about him. So in September of 1980, Harrelson actually surrendered to police after a 6-hour standoff in which he was purportedly high on the nose candy. During the standoff, he threatened suicide, stating he had killed both a Judge Wood, That's one of the people he was actually convicted for. And President John F. Kennedy. That man in the middle of the picture is Charles Harrelson, a.k.a. also known as Charles Boom Boom Harrelson, and the father of Woody Harrelson.
Really? Wow.
And the cousin of my late wife.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit.
So I know that's one of those things I go, there's a little bit more about...
If Jeff did it.
I wasn't involved with that family then. I mean, 63, yeah, I wasn't even born yet.
How convenient.
I wasn't even born yet.
Even more convenient.
Now, the reason a lot of the conspiracy theories have stated that because he does have connections with intelligence agencies and the military and the mob, because they said he was part of the Dixie Mafia. He's a good old boy from small town Texas.
Yep.
But what's really interesting, in fact, is that he was one of the people on the grassy knoll. Now, I mean, he was high on cocaine when he said he killed the president, but he did. He got convicted for killing that judge.
I mean, not that I've ever done cocaine or anything, but if I had ever happened to possibly do it, I've never yelled out anything like "I killed the president."
I wasn't born yet. Sounds something like someone would say that was involved would say. Okay, old Dumbo guy, you got me. I travel like 20 years from now. I'm going to travel back in time just to do that, just to prove all you guys like bull, just to fuck with you guys. Yes, right there. I'm not there to stop it. I'm there to do it, or to make sure it gets done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that sounds like anything a TV show would be talking about either. Like
a
20,
certain TV show, or maybe one, that was on in the Twilight times.
Yeah.
Because there was a whole Twilight Zone episode, or was it? No, it might have been Outer Limits, actually. I don't remember. Somebody went back in time and prevented the death of JFK, and when he got back to his present time, like the Nazis had taken over.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Nazi America.
Yeah, it was one of those two. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but I definitely watched it on like a Saturday night at midnight when I was like 12 years old.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's either Twilight. I think it was probably an Outer Limits episode because.
Now that I think about it, it seems more like an Outer Limits thing.
Just because you'd always every single Twilight Zone you remember, you always remember Serling, Rod Serling, at least with the old ones, because he's all like doesn't matter. He's like you could go, I kind of remember this, but I definitely remember Rod Serling regardless. So I think it was Outer Limits.
And but with Outer Limits, it was the Outer Limits. Please stand by.
We control the vertical. We control the horizontal. Yeah. And I always think about the old Simpsons. I think it was like Treehouse of Horror, like 2 or 3, where they did the. I said, "This is my voice on TV." Dad. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of my interesting things I found out about as far as like a weird side thing. It's one of the things. It could be coincidental. It could be like. It's also one of the things I go. I mean, he's a Texas boy. He could have just been hanging out watching the president too. It is a complete possibility.
Yeah. No, I mean, like we talked about that. Like there was the. I wasn't really able to find much about it, but there's theories that Oswald was just kind of like hanging out in the alleyway or near the alleyway of the book depository, and the cops were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he got spooked and ran off, and that's why he became, like the main, like nobody innocent would run away, and it was like maybe he was back there rubbing one out.
That's the thing is, and like with the president dead and stuff like that, I'm sure the interrogation techniques were never pleasant. So I think try to get anybody to stop from hitting you, pretty much say whatever. So it's hard to say. That is a potentiality. Now, whether he's where he's pulling like a Hinckley or something I don't think whoever the shooter is, we're gonna right now. It's consensus has been it's Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't think he had a Hinckley situation going on with the guy who tried to kill Ronald Reagan, with who was trying to impress a young teenage Jodie Foster, which is the most fucked up way to try to go. Look, honey, I did this all for you. Why we're just killing the president?
Now it's like these days it's like I'm gonna heart all your stuff on social media, and then I'm gonna message you randomly in hopes that you might like me back. And then in the '90s, it was like, I made you this cool mixtape. You want to hang out sometime? And then back then, it was like, I'm going to kill the president for you. How times have changed.
How times have changed. See, another great thing about the internet is it keeps people from killing the president. Which I don't know if that's a good thing right now or not, but we're not going to get into that.
Do you know how hard it is to do that? Like, no, I've definitely never tried it. Ha ha ha.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, God, there was that guy who was like tackled and almost beat half to death because like he just took like a Burger King wrapper and threw it over the fence of the White House. Like,
yeah. Phil Screamer does a quotation, goes, I liked all your photos at Insta. Please, can I have the sex? You know, that's, if I would say that's happened to me. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Did you have sex with them?
No, because I'm pretty sure that they were trying to scam me for money. I always try to have a conversation. They always try to lead everything to money, and I totally just fuck with them every time. I go, dude, I don't have money either, but if you want, you can send me your stuff, and I'll make sure that I just.
I just went through. I had a ton of friend requests, and I was like, man, I don't feel like screening everybody, so I just accepted all of them. And then like within minutes, I got a message from somebody who looked like they were, I don't know, Africa, South America. Their skin was way darker than mine, and it said "Hello," HALLO, and Facebook gave me a message at the top, and it was said, "Do you actually know this person? This is how scams start. Click here to learn more." And I was like, "What the fuck?" But I mean, obviously, it was like some kind of Nigerian scammer dude.
Well, actually, I don't see like Facebook. There has to be we have to have like weirdly like Facebook. We have to have that at least 10 or 15 people like friends before I.
Yeah, no. Normally I do like Insta. Normally I do like 10, but like this person had like 3 or 4 friends in common with me, and I was like, oh, because I've added, like there's like a dude in South America I'm friends with on Facebook because he does suspension occasionally. He'll see his posts and they're in like Portuguese, and I'm like, I'm going to read this translation. Oh, this translation doesn't make sense. Like, just to be nice.
Or that weird guy from the Middle East who's like really into sideshows, sends like weird videos every once in a while.
I don't even know if I'm friends with him anymore. I forgot. I know
because I'm friends with him because he keeps like everyone like I don't know about once in like 6 months I'll get a video from him doing some crazy stunt. And it's like it's like crazy. Like there aren't people here like crazy enough to do it in the U.S. Like it's like some crazy shit.
Yeah, no, I know exactly who you're talking about.
But it's been a while since I've seen anything from him.
Or he unfriended me, but I haven't seen him in a while.
I actually, to be fair, I haven't seen him in a while. It's been at least 6 months. At least it's I don't know. Time is so relative right now.
Yeah, because he would send me like weird, like crazy magic tricks and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I think because it's enough sideshow people like each other, then it discovers that you were all the sideshow people, so I'm going to be friends with all of you.
Yeah, and also that one video, like somewhere in the Middle East, they're like doing some like religious thing, and there's a guy crouched down, and another dude standing behind him. He takes a big ass skewer and shoved it through his neck, and the guy gets up and just starts walking around, and he's fine. They're messing with it. It doesn't. If it's faked, it's faked really well.
It could be like what's his name from the 20s who used to have like the.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
I know that might be a guy. I think that might be a guy I might be talking about on Wednesday. As anybody who's watching the show knows, we always devolve out of everything every once in a while, but we are still talking about the conspiracy of the JFK conspiracy.
Yeah, there's a possibility that Nigerian scammer and that Middle Eastern dude are the killers. So we didn't really go too far off the rails. I don't know them.
That's who I'm. That's actually that's the people I'm contacting about going back in time. So, allegedly.
They would know best. I've seen Stargate.
I've watched the Star War.
All of the stars and all of the wars.
Let's see. I got actually. What do you do? You have something that you want to showcase? I have a thing about like getting really meta with conspiracy, but I think it may be better for a little bit later in the show.
I don't know. I mean, there's always all the theories fascinating. They really do. Like, some of them are just like a reach, and some of them are like, that seems plausible. I don't know, but like, the KGB involvement is the one that like really throws me for a loop, because I'm like, man, the KGB wouldn't like.
I think that's
the KGB would just walk in and murder him.
No, I think that's a red herring. The red. No, it's I think that I don't think it's KGB.
Because they would have just walked in and murdered him. The KGB were ruthless.
Or they would have went.
They wouldn't set up like one random dude to have it done.
No, they would have went. Or they would have went super
Jack
subtle.
Ruby, you're already a rich gangster. You go kill him. Like,
yeah, no, they're really subtle. So I figure either like super thing or they're gonna be really super subtle, like the dude in the '80s who died from radiation poisoning because somebody stuck him in the leg with an umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like basically injected him with like radiation essentially.
Yeah.
No,
it would have either been that, or they would have just walked into the White House, shot him in the head, and walked out. Like,
because I'm willing to concede the fact is I think there was I don't think Harvey was Harvey may have been the trigger man. I think he was hired rather than him trying to impress somebody at that point in time. Now who it is, it's hard to say. I'm leaning towards the mob because the mob had serious beef with Kennedy, so.
Yeah, he was always trying to shut down the mob. Like, that was his thing.
But his brother was notorious about going after that stuff.
Yeah, it was like, what's the one thing that, like, what can I do that'll make me stand out? The mob. The mob is a big issue, and it's like, I don't think the mob's that big of an issue, but okay. But maybe they were different back then.
Yeah.
But like, for the government to be meddling in mob issues, I mean, maybe they were getting somewhere.
No, the mob. The mob. So
and also, I mean, that seems like a really fucking like a really sloppy mob hit. Like, hey, you had military experience. Here's a bunch of money. Go climb that.
Actually, I disagree that I think it actually is pretty good mob tactics because they hired somebody well and outside that they had no connections to them.
But the thing about the mob that throws me off, that makes me feel like it was something more than the mob, is like, if Jack Ruby was a mob boss, why would he go shoot Oswald himself?
Maybe keep Oswald quiet. It's more to keep Oswald quiet.
Yeah, but like, if he was a boss, why didn't he be like, hey, Tommy, you go do this?
Oh, no, I don't think Ruby wasn't a boss.
I thought he was a boss.
No, he was just somebody who had known connections. That doesn't make him a boss.
Yeah, true. Also, I mean, actually, if we don't think he's the boss, he probably is the boss.
That's how it works.
That's another mob tactic. They just like, here, I'm going to give you all this money, and then if you have to go down for me for a couple of years, you go down for me.
That's
okay.
that's a very common thing. That's rumor. That's just stem off the stuff from earlier like that. Rumor had the popular rumor. The fact is that with Charles Boom Boom Harrelson was convicted for killing a federal judge, but maybe he wasn't the one who did it. I mean, his son suddenly got onto the biggest show of all time out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Also, all coincidental. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's not like, like not until later on in life did Woody Harrelson become a good actor. He just played a dumb guy for the longest time.
It had to get through White Man Can't Jump before he could do anything else. And then, with Natural Born Killers is really what made him stand apart.
What made him stand apart was the role he played a completely different person, and that was The People versus Larry Flint.
That was, I don't know, I would argue that's a very Woody role even then. I think when
I don't know, like, okay, but later on, like, towards the end of his life when he had to, be in a wheelchair and fake an injury and, change his voice and everything. I mean,
I'm not saying it wasn't a good role. I'm just saying that wasn't
he sounded like Larry Flint actually played the judge in one of the scenes.
Oh, I know.
And they sounded like each other.
No, I know. It was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's full of a great cast, and it was like it's the one time when you're convinced that Courtney Love was acting versus her saying that Kurt
she's
killed
just
himself.
A drunk. She's like a drunk, drugged up, horny woman, just like in real life. Like that's why Robert Downey Jr. always plays a rich, drunk womanizer. Well, not always. He just does that in real life. Man, okay. Fidel Castro kind of makes sense.
At the time, I mean, that's the communist connection. So that
and it was very that was definitely a big thing,
especially because
for a while.
Especially because Kennedy just made Castro show his ass like a year or so earlier with the whole Bay of Pigs stuff, or they had a whole movie about it, and so it's.
Yeah, you don't really hear much about Cuba anymore. Like, I remember when the Cuban Missile Crisis was a thing, and we were all worried about the Cuban government. Then you realize Cuba's just kind of an island right over there. Like, why are we worried?
90 minutes. It's 90 minutes from the tip of Florida.
Yeah, and what settled it down the most was that Elian Gonzalez, when he showed up, on a raft. Everybody's like, "Oh, poor Cuba," and then everybody stopped being afraid of Cuba.
It's just because it was such an unknown for a long time because it shut down. Between the embargo that the U.S. had against Cuba, so it all shut that down. Fun fact about Cuba, about myself too. My grandfather was born in Cuba and lived for the first 7 or 8 years of his life there. He was the son of Swedish nationals. So he's not. I mean, he's full-blood Swede, born in Cuba, because that's Sweden consulate and stuff like that. And this is well before. This is back when the stuff was awesome and cool to hang out in Cuba, before everything shut down. And then they moved to the U.S. after that. And then my late wife's great-grandparents used to go to Cuba a lot to go gambling and stuff like that, because back at the time you could. And her mother remembers a day when they were hanging out. Then, she went as a small girl with her small girl to go hang out there, and then they were told they had to leave. The government was shutting down. She was there when America pulled out of Cuba. Ironically, around this time, around 64 or 65, I think is when it was. Weird.
Damn. But yeah, no, I just remember Cuba being a really scary thing at one point. Because that's the power of the media, and also, I mean, going back to JFK, that's the power of the media. The media definitely pushed the agenda of it's a conspiracy. We talked about it before. I've seen a Fox 26 News here, or Fox 26 in Houston presents the JFK files or something like that, or a documentary about JFK. I remember seeing the Zapruder film on public television.
Yeah.
And this was in the 90s.
Yeah. Now
I remember seeing JFK get shot in the head in the 90s. I remember. Okay, this is a lot of fun. I had a teacher, maybe 7th, 8th grade or something. We got into, it was American history, and we got into JFK. Teacher let us watch the Zapruder film. Would rewind and on the VCR, would rewind and fast forward the shot. You watch his head. He would say back into the left, back into the left. It doesn't make sense. And then he would also show a guy who was shooting at human skulls. He just acquired human skulls and put them on a stand and stands behind them. And he's as you could see, he shoots it in the back of the skull and it goes back into the left. Because the impact pushes the body like that because of the exit wound. It's more of the exit wound than the entry wound. So it goes back like that because from the back of the head. And he was and if you turn around and you do it the other way, it doesn't make any sense. And he shoots the skull in the front, and it goes back into the left again. And I was
yeah,
come on, man!
No.
Why'd you put this in the film?
Well, yeah, especially when you can actually weirdly enough, it's, I entertain the notion of showing at least that small part of the video, but because in today's days,
we got 4 people in here in the chat. Ask them, you guys, y'all want to watch the Zapruder film?
Or at least we're gonna watch that portion of it. I got that part of it.
Oh, you got that part of it, so we don't get to see the babushka lady because we need to talk about her.
No, it's strictly a slow down. It's strictly a slow down from right before to right after the hit, and you can totally see it.
Well, I mean,
we got one person. Filth Screamer says, "Let's go."
Filth Screamer.
It's not so much him as some people afterwards, and it's one of those. In today's day,
you should probably.
Louis Fox. Louis Fox is on.
Yep, Louis Fox. Never heard of that guy.
Yeah, Louis. Yeah, so just be careful. Twitch doesn't play well with gore, which is why I don't want to chance it.
But I mean, I wouldn't really call this gore. This is a historical for the most part.
It's
grainy. Like also you can't like it's in black and white. You don't.
No, it's in color. It's in color, but it's grainy.
Version?
It's grainy, okay, but it's grainy. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll be okay on that.
Okay, I'm gonna play it on.
Also, I mean, we've asked for consent several times, and if anybody rewatches this later, they realize we're going to play it, so we can put like a marker in the video of like, hey, this is where this happens, and this is where it ends.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, if you can watch through the channel, that's the only way I can have it because I have to broadcast it that way, not through the Zoom stuff, because all these.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got the laptop set up right over here.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna play. Give me a second. Let me set that up for you guys. Talk amongst yourselves.
Also, to those of you who do watch this, if you see this part and it physically bothers you, upsets you in any way, please contact Louis Fox and let him know how you feel, because I'm totally blaming you on him.
True story. Yeah, it's like a 40. It's all said and done. It's 48 seconds. It's going to start with like a little dead space because they're saying we're going to.
I got the approval.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
This version tracks the limousine
blow this up
and
here
maintains President Kennedy and Governor Connolly at center frame. This version is only in slow motion.
There we go. We can see him driving down. This is all slowed down, everything like that. It is a custom 6-seater job you can't see. They made for the visit, and we're going to see it.
Oh, that's actually one of the theories that I wanted to bring up.
There it is, right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie ran in the back to scoop up anything that popped out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's going on right there.
Yeah, no, like I understand that. Like everyone like goes the theory. It's like she was trying to get away, or the security guard or the Secret Service member in the front. She saw him shoot Kennedy, and that's why she freaked out. But
no,
then
it's
also,
pretty much right here. So
yeah, you see it. You see the spray.
You see it hit and hit.
Yeah, but there's the theory that the Secret Service in front seat, she saw him turn around and shoot him, and then that's why she tried to get away. But also, the theory that like she went immediately into shock because she saw it happen and she saw his brains rolling across the back like trunk, and she's like, he's gonna need those.
Well,
and that's why she was trying to grab him.
It's like somebody's thumb gets cut off, you run to grab the thumb. That's how it works. I know, I get that.
And if you just take the brain and shove it back in the hole, it works fine.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is
there was a great scientist trying to do that, something to that, getting the brain right there. Mr. Jeffrey Dahmer, pouring stuff into the brain right there.
All right. So, yes. But speaking of Jeffrey Dahmer, really enough, this actually makes a really good segue with Jeffrey Dahmer. Believe it or not.
Hey, that's what I'm good for. Dumb jokes and good segues.
So there's actually a Netflix series on called Dark Tourist. And it's about this guy, Dark Tourist, and this is this dude.
Okay, I've heard of that. I don't know if I've ever watched anything.
Well, what's really cool is like every episode, he's like in a different place all over the world where he goes to see.
Yeah, he goes to haunted places and.
Well, like he went to Chernobyl, like he was in Russia. Yes. Yeah. Well, so he did the United States, and the first story they did was him doing like the Dahmer tour. And he met like some super obsessed Dahmer fan. They went and met the prosecuting attorney and all this stuff to like learn about Dahmer. That was the first segment. Second segment, he comes down to Dallas about the JFK conspiracy. See, segue. Now, the reason I want to talk about this specifically is because if you ever go to Dallas, if you ever get a chance to go to Dallas and just go anywhere near the freaking grassy knoll in Dealey Plaza, there's like 8,000 guys who are trying to hustle you for money to tell you the real story as far as what happened, including because this dude, I'm going to bring him up.
You know, I
dude
would
right
love
here.
to go down there with like a handful of cash and be like, it's like, I've got $1 for you. Tell me what you can.
Oh no, I'm gonna get into this right now because this is like the ultimate in like conspiracy within conspiracy within conspiracy. This dude behind me, this guy's name is Robin.
Repeat that I was burping.
Yeah, no, Robin. What's his last name? I'm an idiot. And I just rewatched the episode too, so it's really funny. It's like Robin Birch, stuff like that. He has like a big, huge JFK tour, including he has the 4-seater Cadillac, very similar to JFK's. He doesn't have the 6-seater because that is a custom job. But he has a 4-seater that he drives people around. He slows down right there at the X mark where you can see where Kennedy gets shot and stuff like that, and tells these stories. And if you let him, he'll talk for like 10 hours about all the conspiracies concerning JFK.
I would let him. I would just need a bottle of booze.
Now, here's where it gets interesting.
Preferably a bottle of Old Humble whiskey.
I'm sure yes. Now, if you're not willing to pay the price for him, stuff like that, you can go talk to the like a lot of the homeless guys who are going to talk about it. But here's the weird conspiracy within conspiracy within conspiracy is right here. I've got that dude who's right now paying off one of the homeless guys to make sure he tells the quote-unquote correct story. So this.
What is the correct story? Is he having the homeless people tell you lies so he can tell you the real story? And he's just like, don't believe the homeless people out there. They're lying to you. When all the homeless people were like, I'm a time traveler. I was there.
So yes, I actually got this. Believe it or not, I actually. Apparently the homeless story is the same as his. So basically, the idea is the guy's basically controlling the narrative as far as what happens with anybody that's around there.
I'm gonna get a homeless dude drunk and ask him the real story.
But here's the cool thing: I got this picture through High Threat of Death from the person who got it from by using a code name of Fox One, who sent me that picture, so that way I can make sure that he is taken care of and stuff like that. Yeah, Bolter. Anyway, Louis Fox is on the chat right there. Say hello, Louis.
We'll never know who it is.
I never know who it is. That's right.
Yeah.
Actually,
but I mean, like,
let me.
That's really weird. Like, why would you pay off the homeless people for that when you could just easily say, like, those homeless guys are crazy. Don't listen to them.
Actually, I'm telling this story now because I'm about to unmask Louis about the thing he gave me too. Because I went to the website of this dude's JFK tours, and in it is one of the guys who you can also hire to get your tour, and it's that dude. So you can actually go and book that dude that he's paying money off to do the same thing.
So we were talking about brains and how they come out of the head.
Yeah.
Louis actually sent me a X-ray of a brain scan that I have hanging up. I had to make a specialized way to hang it up. It's hanging under a light because it's an actual X-ray, and so you can see through it under the light.
Yeah.
But it is a brain. Whose brain was it, Louis? I don't believe what the name on there anymore. I don't even know the name. I was hoping it was your brain scanning. You told me you found it at a thrift shop.
That's what he said.
Convenient now, isn't it?
Yeah. I love it. I go, I've been asking. I told the thing. He goes, "What? I paid that guy $10." I go, "I'm just telling you, Louis, that dude. You can actually book that dude through the guy's website to tell you the story as well. He's cheaper than doing the car tour. Don't get me wrong. He does say he is going to be considerably cheaper, but he's probably still. And apparently, that guy was actually there at age 13 and saw it all happen. I'm sure that's what he told you too, because that's what it says in the thing. So it's like really funny. Like when Fox One sent me that picture a couple of days ago, and then today as I was prepping the show, I was going to pull up that picture for the Robin guy. And then I started reading his stuff, and like talking about his tour stuff, and then it came showed that dude's picture, going, "This is a guy who could also talk to you about it. You could book him as well." It's all interconnected. It's all a scam.
The internet would never scam us.
No, not at all. No, like the other like when you're watching Doc Tourist, they have another guy, another tour guy who says he's not in competition and stuff like that, and he does like a weird party bus style tour. Louis going, I'm on the website. They put that up to discredit you. That could be true. The truth is out there, Louis.
That's my new goal in life, is to discredit Louis.
That's fair.
You guys know he doesn't do real magic.
No, he doesn't.
It's all fake. It's just magic.
It's all deep state shit right there. Just getting crazier and crazier.
But to be fair, I'm pretty sure Louis actually does real magic because I don't understand magic tricks most of the time, so it's all real.
No, Louis really good.
Although, all that jazz, yeah.
Although when I had Chris Mysterion on the show the other day, and
another devil.
Fuck me! I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm no expert, but I know some stuff, and he did shit that I don't know what he did.
I've seen a David Blaine special a time or two. I can tell you how some of that magic works. Turns out you just turn the camera a little, boom.
That is some of the stuff, yeah. Gone. It's all about, like, some of this shit is all about angles. Or you line the inside of a glass box with sugar glass so you can actually still get substance per food, like when it's trapped in the box for several days. Rumor has it that the inside was like about an inch of sugar glass all around it, so you can still use that as sustenance. Just.
Yeah. Nobody's looking, right?
Well, it doesn't matter. Just you just laying like this.
Oh, I was saying David Blaine. I meant David Copperfield for the.
Also angles, yes. That's all. It still counts.
For the Statue of Liberty. David Blaine for all the other lies.
Oh yeah. All right, so we got like.
I love even when we keep talking about Fox. We brought it up on both shows. Now we're going to keep bringing up Fox because of the cool conspiracy videos they did back in the day. But one of them even stated that possibly David Blaine had a stunt double, and when all the ice was too condensed to see out of, his stunt double was standing there because they built a special room under the stage that he could crawl into to get warm for a little while and watch television and eat.
That is, I'm not saying that would be the way to do it, but that would make sense.
Yeah, perfect sense. Also, why did he take his shirt off?
For the ladies.
Sex appeal, that's why.
Yeah, for the ladies. All right, so we got like 12 minutes. Oh, we got 12-ish minutes of this show.
So 12 minutes. 3 shots and 4 shots.
I've heard officially 3. 2 definitely coming from one area, which is the rifler, because basically that's why Connolly got shot, and then
and he was using Caracano, right? No, Caracano. Fuck, I should have written that down, but it was a Carano rifle. Caracano.
He used a gun.
Wrong. Yeah, it was a bolt action. So I remember bolt action, like toys. Like I never shot a bolt action rifle like a real one, but I remember the toys were like you click, push it forward, bam, it's cocked, shoot. It's like bang.
Yeah.
And then they were saying, oh, it's next to impossible to be able to get 3 shots off in 4.8 seconds.
Well, that's why.
But in the future, people have been like, we tested his rifle, we tested everything about it. The rifle he was using was extremely accurate. They tested it 50 yards, 500 yards, 1,000 yards. It was an extremely accurate rifle. Yeah. And they've actually had people try to recreate it over the years with the same exact gun. Well, not the original, but the same gun. And people have beat his record and actually gotten up to 5 shots out in 4 seconds.
Well, yeah. Well, especially when you're a trained... It's not like some podunk dude from a farm. The dude was trained to be a sniper.
He had military background.
Yeah, he was trained to be a sniper. So, of course it's possible. But that's what's the current connection. The fact is that they know at least 2 shots came from the one area. They concede during sound analysis, stuff like that. A third shot may have occurred elsewhere, but the actual shots that hit bodies both came from his area. So. I think
there's no solid. I couldn't find a solid percentage on how many people, because there were people who said there were 3 shots, there were people who said there were 4 shots, but in the time, you don't know. They said the second shot and the third and fourth shot came at almost the same time because they heard it in two different directions.
Yeah, but
and it could have been echo, it could have been anything. But out of 121 witnesses that were interviewed that day, 51 of them claimed that it came from the grassy knoll. But like I just said, echoes. It could have been really anything. It could have been a second gunman. Well, it could have been the gutter man. I'm really leaning towards the babushka lady because so many people focus on that woman for no damn reason.
I think
she was seen in the Zapruder film, but nobody's ever found her before. It's like, yeah, because it's a woman wearing a babushka, and then you never saw her again. Like she didn't grow the babushka. It's a fucking hat.
Also, here's the other thing to think about is in case she was somebody and she was an older lady who came from war times, she ain't saying shit.
There's a gun in the babushka.
All the fact is, no, like even if she's like, she ain't saying shit. She's going home. I saw nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I've known those old ladies.
Whether she was a citizen or not, like
she saw nothing. She wasn't there that day. She didn't want to deal with it.
It was like, why would you come forward? What do you have to say? Be like, yeah, I saw it happen. Like that's it. That's all. I just saw it. Why would she need to come forward? Also, we talked about it a little bit before this with the Umbrella Man. The Umbrella Penguin gun. Might have been him too. Him and the babushka lady were doing it together.
Well, 1963 is the height of Batman mania, so maybe.
This is true. Adam West was a very sexy man.
He looks kind of Kennedy-esque, so.
It was Adam West. We figured it out.
Or like Burgess Meredith that just lost his mind and thought Kennedy was Adam West.
I never trusted him because he had eyebrows on the bat suit. That's why you can't trust him. Eyebrows on a bat suit. Do bats even have eyebrows? No, they don't. They don't need them because they don't need to look down the barrel of a gun and not get sweat in their eyeballs.
Okay, Louis, I'm going to track down, because basically we should do one on the family that got abducted and Fox aired their home video. I'm going to find that. And I'm gonna
dude, I remember that one. That scared the shit out of me.
I'm going to track that one down because that sounds like it might be fun.
Because I remember they shot the laser, the aliens crashed and they walked from their farmhouse and they
I think I have a vague memory of that.
And they shot a laser at them and then a ball of light came into the house and they were like, we had our analysts test the video and it proves that the ball was a sphere of light. It was like, how did it get through the window? And the ending where the kid's walking through his room and he turns around and there's the alien right there and the alien walks up and grabs the camera and then turns it around to the kid and the kid's frozen and that thing scared the shit out of me. I remember
because that sounds real. As directed by Steven Spielberg.
I was 12 or 13 and I also just seen Fire in the Sky and that's the only movie movie that's ever scared me.
Fire in the Sky is a good movie. Communion. If you haven't checked out Communion, that's another fun one.
Communion.
That sounds familiar. It's got Christopher Walken in the movie. It's actually also based on a true story book.
Yeah. I remember that one.
Yeah. If you want to get that rabbit hole, is we're furiously.
I feel like we're going to visit aliens again at some point during.
I'm sure we will in a few weeks. So next week we're going to talk 5G. And then the week after that,
5G is going to be fun. I'm actually going to have to study up on that because I've only seen the dumb Facebook conspiracies. I need to dig deep and find the real conspiracies.
Oh my!
So stupid.
I've got a friend on Facebook who is all about that deep level, next level of deep. And I'm just gonna so that's why it popped in my mind.
I just keep seeing 5G towers are being burnt down as they're built here in America, and 5G causes cancer. 5G caused COVID.
I know. So we're gonna talk about that next week.
This one.
And we're gonna talk about that next week, and then the week after that, which people are here the current people, we only have a few people watching right now, but guess what? People are going to rewatch this because they will, because
because we're fucking sexy.
That's right. We're gonna do ghost stories, and we're gonna talk about ghost stuff. And so, if you viewer have a story you want us to tell, drop us a line. You can check our social medias. Whether it's Scabs the Clown, Jeff with the G, you can find us in all our stuff, and drop us a line about your ghost story. We'll read it aloud and we'll talk about it.
I mean, and I just want to point out, I'll tell some of my experiences, and like I said, I've had experiences, but I have a lot of different theories about it. I don't think it's your, my dad.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
But also, I believe in certain things, and Jeff doesn't believe it at all. So this will be a fun conversation.
I know it will. Now we're looking forward to having that conversations like that. In fact, once we get off here, we're going to do a quick thing after we get done, so we can kind of hype that up and get ready. Because we're going to post something online to try to get people's interest in doing stuff like that. So we got about 4 minutes, I guess.
4 minutes.
What do you
I don't
have?
know, like, okay, would you want to do, like, have people send in stories? Like, if we get a couple of good stories and, like, maybe we got some friends or people we wouldn't worry about, like, bringing onto the show to actually, like, pop in and, like,
if they want to, yeah.
As well.
I'm down with that.
Fun just to have, like, a couple of live talks about it.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I can readjust our graphics and stuff like that to make that work. It's not a problem.
Yeah, we should be like, all right, you've got 5 minutes. We're gonna cut you off for 5 minutes. Like, go for it.
Or we can do like an actual record, like basically they can just record it and we can just show it that way.
Yeah, record it and send it in. Like, I wouldn't want to do more than 5 minutes. I'd like to keep it. I'm like 2 or 3 minutes. If you can condense it a little bit. I want the details, but condense it a little bit.
No, yeah, we'll finalize that in a second. Okay, we got a couple minutes left. Let's do quick plugs. What you got to
Phil
plug?
Screamer just messaged me about. He was like, I would love to join in on this if I ever can. Basically, he would love to talk about conspiracy theories and aliens and stuff. I wouldn't mind having some special guests on from here to there. Like,
sure.
You probably met Phil Screamer. He used to DJ Fixation.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah. Ginger, really nerdy, smells funny.
It's nerdy, smells dirty. Yes, that's like
so
9 quarters.
I described myself basically.
I'm sure we've I'm sure we've interacted at least briefly.
Cool dude. I've known him for a while.
Yeah, no, yeah, we can. We'll figure out the right. We'll figure out the right. We'll bring on guests from time to time, depending on
his expertise lies.
Yeah, we'll see where his big thing that he wants to pop in things. I don't mind putting stuff like that. I know Louis Fox. I know his brothers are like really like hardcore into some of the cryptid stuff. So we were talking about bringing them on at some point too. So
hell yeah,
it's like further on. We'll figure it out. But it's one of those things that we're going to talk 5G next week. We're going to do ghost stories a week after that, and then we're going to see what goes on there. But as far as plugs, what do you have for plugging?
What am I up for plugging? What do I have going on? And okay, so Thursday, as far as I know so far, we've got the Hot Mess Happy Hour with Team Tiddlywinks. Basically, we just drink, chat. We encourage your conversations. We'll do dumb stuff for money. I've worn a shirt that she snotted all over, and my girlfriend ate a apple fritter that she put in her underwear, and we'll do dumb stuff for money and just have fun and get drunk with you. Saturday, we've got Sideshow Saturdays. Boobzilla starts at 7 o'clock. Do you know who their guest is?
I think if everything falls in right, I believe Miss Lily Von Stupp is supposed to be on her show.
Okay, right on.
Barring anything like Lily has health issues, so assuming her health issues don't preclude her from being part of the show.
Understandable, and also maybe if something bad happens, we could just do an hour of us like bitching and screaming about whatever. But my show right after that, 8 o'clock after the boob tube, we've got Stupid Live Stream for Stupid People. The name kind of stuck because I couldn't figure out anything better. I was talking to a friend of mine the other night, and I've had him on the show before, and he just had to weasel his way back in somehow. So he sacrificed his daughter, and his daughter and I are going to be, interviewing each other. She's going to ask me questions about me being a clown, or I don't know what she's asking me, honestly. I'm going to ask her what it's like growing up with a magician father who is as over the top as Louis Fox.
That should be fun.
And then after that, 9 o'clock, we have, how about we talk, what are you doing?
All right, let's, for all my plugs, because I've got several, so we'll start with Wednesday. Wednesday,
that's right,
so Wednesday at 10 p.m. Central right here on Cabin Fever Live. I'm doing the Devil's Hour. For the Devil's Hour, I get performances by the musician Opie Hendricks out of Houston, Texas. I've got Cecil the Sad Clown, who's going to be doing some fun stuff. I know, right? I've got Urban Heat, who's another band right out of here from Austin, Texas. And then I have world-renowned Penn and Teller Fooler, Rick Maisel, who's an amazing escapologist.
Nice.
And then plus some other fun stuff of what I always do. And then on Saturday for the batting cleanup for the Sideshow Saturdays is I'm going to have the amazing Sideshow talent Sally Cinch is going to be on my show.
Ooh, yeah, I know Sally.
Now, Sally.
Actually, that was one of my last days at the Hootenanny this year. I met up with Louis Fox, Sally Cinch, and Mab Just Mab, and we had some lunch and hung out for a little bit before we went our separate ways, and that was like one of my last interaction with good friends before all this.
She like the second person I met at the people at the Hoot that I didn't come with, but the second person I met at the Hoot after Hot Tub Lincoln was Sally Cinch, and so they were both really nice, and so it's one of those. I always got a nice soft spot going, oh, Sally. So she's going to come on. We're going to talk about old school stuff. We're going to talk about whatever. We may talk about her real life job because she has a really weird but cool real life job too. Really weird but cool. Just like there's some things I'm just going, what? You do what? The what? Does it go? Yeah. Does it go? Cool, but I don't know if it's. We got maybe kick that program. But anyway, that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the following week. Because I want to hype that as well for the Sideshow Saturdays. Is we're for the Sideshow players. We're actually at 8 o'clock. We're actually hosting. We're hosting the amazing and wonderful Chris Christ, who's like a Sideshow legend. He's probably the oldest legend currently available out
there. My show mostly for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to pop in and ask a couple of my own dumb questions, but yes. No,
that's I mean, he's like in his 80s, so we got to kind of figure out a time that works best for him. That's why it works out that way. But we're going to find questions, stuff like that. So be a part of this. Come hang out at the show. Watch what's going on. If you're a member of the Sideshow Hootenanny, you can ask questions and stuff like that. And so it'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, that's it for us today. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, be safe.
Yeah. Also, if you guys actually want to hear, we got a couple weeks booked. But if y'all want to hear about something, if y'all have an idea for a show, please send it to us.
Oh, definitely.
We've got a million things we can talk about, and we'd like to hear suggestions. Like maybe you want to talk about the furry trout. Maybe you want to talk about the Montauk Monster, or maybe you want to talk about God, I can't remember the name of them. I'm going to send you a video of these because they're really weird. As people try to debunk it, they can't. They're legged creatures with a torso, and that's it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I want to figure some shit out about those, but there's nothing known about them because they've only been recorded on 2 videos.
We can also talk, if you want, we can get really weird talking flying rods.
The flying rods, yeah.
That's been debunked, but it's still fun to talk about. We can go conspiracies, including things like the Kurt Cobain conspiracy. We can talk Kurt Cobain conspiracy.
Because I'm glad he killed himself. Fuck Nirvana.
But did he?
No, I'm not a fan of Nirvana, but everything about that whole thing is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was just about the conspiracy. Maybe we'll talk about that. I don't know, like music lore. That's my jam. So it's you want to talk about music?
I like music lore, but not to that extent. I mean,
I
can only stay away from true crime for the most part, unless there's a cool story behind it.
Honestly,
we all know about John Wayne Gacy. We all know about Ted Bundy. We all know about fucking Dahmer. We all know about the regular serial killers. I don't really want to get into that. It's been done to death.
No, we're gonna get weirder. It's less about unless there's a really weird story about said killer. I don't think we probably won't talk much about him.
That's why I like conspiracy theories, because there's so much to it from so many people. It's hey, this is totally true. No, this is true. And we're no, actually the whole thing's made up. Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, we might I think the exceptions. We might talk Manson just because that's a whole fucked up thing and weird. And there's some conspiracy.
It is, I have a weird amount of knowledge from Manson.
Yeah, it's there's some weird conspiracy shit out of that way too. But anyway,
there's a Manson song that gets stuck in my head constantly. It's "Cease to Exist." I don't know why. Every couple of weeks, I think about that song, and I have to listen to it 10 times before it goes away. And he actually sold that song to the Beach Boys. Fuck.
Yeah, he was trying to get in with Brian Wilson, really big. And then the Guns N' Roses Spaghetti Incident, they do one of his other songs. They cover one of his other songs.
Yeah, and if we're going to talk about the Guns N' Roses, I'm going to have to bitch and scream about, what are they, Great White, because they just did another show involving fireworks.
Oh no, it's crazy. It's dumb. It's dumb. Anyway, we're gonna turn off the stream. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, y'all.
All right.